This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Boulder, Colorado. I'm here at Christine Marguerite. Since 2001, they have been providing one-of-a-kind, custom-designed jewelry, responsible heirloom quality for the locals and clients nationwide. I'm here with the owner, designer. Thanks so much for joining us. Linda, let's start off, a little bit about yourself. Quite honestly, you have 45 plus years that you have committed to this industry. We really can trace the roots of your trade all the way back to Pearl Street, 1975. You've been formally educated at the School of Mines. You have a master's degree of fine art, I believe. Share with me a little bit how this passion all got started for you.
I started very young. I was about 3 years old, and I loved going through the drawers of all my family's jewelry. And there were drawers and drawers of costume jewelry. And I would open each drawer and look at each piece and examine every single little detail and put it exactly back. And I was very, very young. And I had ones that I liked and ones that I didn't like. And so I really just fell in love with the entire look, something sparkling, something beautiful, something that really meant something to somebody once upon a time.
Once upon a time. Quite honestly, jewelry is probably the most personal item that we'll ever buy. We wear it sometimes our whole entire life. Many times our jewelry outlives us. For that very reason, is that why customization really is at the forefront of what you wanted to provide to the public?
Yes, it absolutely is. When you purchase something from us, it's an extremely personal process. And you don't just buy something off the shelf. I have plenty of things that you can. But when it comes to an engagement or wedding ring or possibly a birthstone or something about a mother's births or, even deaths, these are unusual items that not everybody would have for you. For instance, you couldn't just go to the store and pick up a ring that had all your children's birthstones in them, because who would have known? So the irony is that I didn't start as a wedding ring designer, but I ended up as a wedding ring designer as probably my primary style.
Not only are you creating jewelry that is beautiful, stunning, but you believe that jewelry should be also comfortable, being able to be enjoyed by the wearer. Is that important to you?
It is, and I think that it's inherent in the fact that I'm a woman designer, because there's a lot of people out there that can design jewelry. It's very intellectual, incredibly abstract, but when you put it on, it pokes you in the wrong way, or the pin doesn't fit right, or the earrings are too heavy. And so being a woman designer has actually made a huge difference in the way that I've approached the manufacturing, engineering, and the eventual wearing of the piece of jewelry. I know exactly how that piece is going to feel on your body, how it's going to wear, how it's going to behave, and these are key for you to be able to wear something every day for the rest of your life.
So we're talking about beyond the intellect process, it's the intuitive process. Tell me about this process. It begins, the start is an initial consultation. You're sitting down, maybe somebody walks in with an idea, maybe a sketch on a piece of paper. What are some of the questions you're finding out early on?
Well, I call myself a graphic diviner because I really take the process to another level. Again, that's my niche. That's the place that I reside. You can't buy that off the shelf, and you certainly can't get it online. When somebody comes in, I ask them, what is their dream piece of jewelry? What does that look like to them? And we don't start with budget right away, because budget is something that you have to work into. But the bottom line is I always try to fit that budget to the project. It's not always possible, certainly. But when the person puts that piece of jewelry on, from the moment they sit down with me, and I literally come up with the ideas, the feeling, the weight, the metals, the gemstones, and it fits them perfectly 100% of the time, that's a very magical process, and not everyone can pull that off, I must say.
That is great. Magical process. I mean, at this moment, these people are giving you their dream vision of what they want on their hand or jewelry, you name it. Once you've decided what it's going to look like, how it's going to be, are they able to see a rendering at that point? And is this a hand rendering, or is it more of a CAD drawing?
Well, you know, that's interesting because the industry is changing at a very rapid rate. So originally I would hand draw. I am a degreed product designer, and in the old days you had to take out colored pencils and you had to make that piece look exactly like what the client had ordered or is hoping to find. So drawing was one of my great skills in the very, very beginning. However, over time, the processes have changed, and now I have a lovely husband and family. My husband is very smart with graphic design, and he's able to interpolate my idea from the client's dream through the computer into a rendering that the client can then approve of and purchase.
That is
It's
wonderful.
incredible.
Quite a process from the beginning all the way to the end. Obviously, the last step is when they receive this piece of jewelry. Is this something normally that you like to take place here in your gallery here? Obviously, we can probably send it out to people if they can't get it, but is it kind of neat for you to experience that aha moment with them?
My aha moment is when I slide that ring on that person's hand and it fits perfectly, having come from literally a dream out of nowhere, out of space, out of abstract thought. And then all of a sudden it's exactly right, perfectly placed, exactly as the person had envisioned on their hand. And I said, at that point, I can sleep.
I can sleep. Many folks out there, I mean, jewelry is something that is handed down. What if somebody out there has an heirloom piece of jewelry? Maybe it doesn't fit them perfectly, the setting doesn't work for them, but yet the stone is something they'd like to incorporate into a new design. Is that something you can provide? And is it important for them to bring the stone in to make sure that it's a good candidate for a new design?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I call that the power of jewelry. And I also call it jewelry therapy because people bring in like their great grandma's diamond and they maybe knew her for only a short amount of time. But when they put that stone down on the table and I go to take a look at it and I'm ready to start making something from that piece, they'll cry because I am literally taking something that might have been thrown in an old box or something that nobody's had any contact with for many, many years, and I will bring that piece to absolute life, and you will get to wear it again for another 100 years.
They say that you have the ability to improve on any design. How important are the details when it comes to jewelry design with you?
They're very, very important, and I'm extremely detail-oriented. I don't know how I got that, but as I told you, at 3 years old, I was articulating, looking at pieces of jewelry going, I don't like the way the pin fits on there, or the colors don't quite match, or I hate the fact that a stone was missing. When I put it together, every single bit of it, it's like a Rubik's Cube. It's completely designed and everything is thoughtfully considered so that when you wear that piece, you can perceive that presence of intelligence and intelligent design can literally be perceived when you wear the piece of jewelry. It is a very powerful thing.
You're able to provide women's rings, men's rings, pendants, necklaces, but really where these designs come together on an amazing day would be on the wedding day. Your specialty that is of bridal sets. Tell me, what is the process there as they come in together?
Well, sometimes the gentleman will come in prior. Sometimes it's a same-sex couple, and we encourage everyone to come in here. So there's always something that we have for whoever is walking in our door. And what we do is we ask that person. Sometimes they'll bring in the partner, and the partner will voice their hopes and dreams. And then I'll get back to the original person, the purchaser, and I'll say, okay, now let's move forward, and we'll go forward with the process. But that the original recipient of the piece will be included in that process. Sometimes it's a total surprise. And so I'll take a look at the photograph of the person, and I'll say, I think this will fit their personality. They like navy blue, but they never wear red. So I really go a long way to make sure when custom is made here, it's truly custom. It's made for that one person in mind. And then they get to wear something unique and special, hopefully for the rest of their lives.
I mean, being a wedding photographer myself for over 25 years, I've seen people spend a lot of money on that wedding day. I always used to tell them that the only two things that you invest in on that day are your photography and your wedding rings. They're the only things that are left after the cake has been eaten. How far in advance should people come in to make sure they hit the date of their wedding?
Well, first of all, you're hired. Because I tell people, some people will spend $20,000 on a dress and they only want to spend $500 on rings. And I'm like, let's turn that around. Sure. Because I actually tell people I'm making wedding rings. I'm making rings for your great-grandchildren. And so we have to think about them. So the value is inherent in the longevity of the piece. And so I'm really adamant that this is a place where you need to spend some money. Not that I break the budget, but that's where your value has its longest lifespan. And it's not something that you put a dress in the closet and you never look at it or wear it again. That's not what we provide. We provide something you can have forever and give to your great-grandchildren.
That is great. I mean, quite honestly, a person can walk into any reputable jewelry store and learn about diamonds, learn about the cuts, the colors, quality. Yet many times we don't even think about where these diamonds are sourced. I mean, this is something that is kind of near and dear to your heart, making sure that responsible designing. Share with me why that's important.
Well, I come from a long line of people that care deeply about where things are made, where things are manufactured, and I'm very committed to that. If we do have a piece that's already pre-manufactured, I work with a company in Lafayette, Louisiana that employs 1,750 United States citizens. I try to work with all companies that recycle all their metals because there's something called above the ground, and there's tons of gold already above the ground, tons of silver. These things are stashed in people's boxes. You can use that gold, you can use that silver, and you can recycle that. Not that we use the old gold, but that there's so much metal above the ground. There's almost no need to mine at this point. The diamonds, of course, the Kimberley process came about from the UN in the 1990s. And this was an assurance to everyone buying in the industry that the gemstones that they were purchasing, be it diamond, sapphire, emerald, ruby, were ethically sourced, because when you wear that piece on your hand, you want to feel good about it. But also that we give back to the community and we give back to the resources so that nothing is awkward or not correct, that it's important that these things come from a great place so that they are always something that you want to have in your life.
Excellent. That is great. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website. First of all, on the website, take a look at the different types of jewelry she provides there for you. Obviously, her specialty is that in bridal rings. You name it, come in. She has a way of really pulling out of you what it is that you want, and that kind of makes it an exciting process all the way throughout. You can also take a look at the testimonials there online. People that have really trusted you with putting something on them that they knew was going to be very special to them or represent a special day in their life. Let me ask you this. I mean, obviously, from a local standpoint, you have custom jewelry that you provide for people. What is it when you're talking about branded collections? What is that exactly?
Well, that's something I personally have struggled with because I never make a million of anything. When you come to me, it's one. And making one-ups is a little risky in terms of business venture because you can't get into Nordstrom's. You're not in Saks Fifth Avenue. On the other hand, you're not going to walk into a party and see anything else like it. So branding for me is the quality and the personal design process, and that's the brand. The brand is not something you can buy anywhere else. It belongs to you and you alone. How special is that?
That is great. I mean, really in line with what you call your triple bottom line, which is people, profits, actually people, planet, profit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly in the order because people come first and the planet and the people are equal, in my opinion. We want to take care of everybody. And profits are certainly the correct way to handle it when you support a local business. You take care of a family. You take care of people that are here, that buy into your other local businesses, that pay the city taxes, that pave your road and get your, streets plowed. So this money that you spend in a place like ours gets distributed in your own neighborhood, and that is how it should be. When you don't put back into the community, how can you ever get anything back from the community? You have to put in.
Speaking of giving back, I see certificates on the wall. Continuing education is something you've always enjoyed. You're now educating others. One of the ways that you've done that is, I understand you're adding author to your list of accomplishments. Tell me about that.
Yes, well, I had a epiphany, I guess, if you want to say that. About a year ago, I sat up. Being a woman in the industry is significantly different, not necessarily for bad or good. It just is different. And so I woke up one day and I thought, boy, I wonder if I'm the only woman experiencing what I'm experiencing, because I am truly a sophisticated enterprise, having been around a very long time, and not all it's a woman-owned business. Sure. So I started to ask around if other women jewelers would be interested in being interviewed. And right now I am writing the book, Women of Jewelry. I am interviewing 100 women. My intention is to create and curate an exhibit of all their work, their photographs, portraits, and their stories, which has never been done before. And then hopefully I can create a fund for one young woman or one deserving woman every year to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology. And what that does is, what we have here is we pass it on. You don't just keep it. It's like a river. If you dam the river up, it's only for the people that have the water behind the dam. If you let the water flow, you give it to everyone, and they can all experience this positive phase in their lives. And the women I have interviewed, including Paula Crevichet, Joan Hornig, Lisa Jenks, Carla Morrison, Nancy Anderson, the list is phenomenal. The women are incredible. Lydia Cortai in Paris. We've been to Paris, we've been to England, we've been to New York, we've been to Vegas, and I just came back from Santa Fe. These women are inspirational, they're informational, their stories are incredible. I'm after the story. Corinne Simpson created the first black cameo because the woman said to them, "Hey, girlfriend, can you find me a black cameo?" And she said, "I'll see if I can find one for you." And eventually she could not. So she said, "You know what? I'm going to create that thing." And Avon picked her up. So for me, it's about the story and the story of the success of the individual, and that being a woman in the industry may be a little different, but it can be beneficial. It can be difficult. It's no different. It's just the story of each woman in the industry. So I'm on person 15. We have 85 more women to go. I intend to go to India, into Turkey, into countries all over the world. China, there are women that hardly anybody even knows about that are making these masterpieces that are hidden from the public view. So my job is to bring that to the front.
Bring those stories to the front. We have brought your story to the front today. Your story going back when you're age 3 years old, pulling the jewelry out of a box, to 1975 on the streets of Boulder, learning more about your trade, studying to be a gemologist. Has this still been rewarding for you to do all these years?
Well, I just had an opportunity because I am a salesperson and people are like, work for me, work for me. And I thought, well, maybe I should go and work for somebody else. And today, I came back and I thought, you know what? I'm so good at this. And this is my life. This is my passion. I love it, even after all this time. And I thought, stay put it here, keep it going. And that's my job.
Kind of neat. We caught you on that day.
I know.
And we're actually interviewing you on that day.
Yeah.
Viewers, last time, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her contact information right there. The website is chock full of a lot of imagery. We've been showing you a lot on the screen right there, but quite honestly, this is a one-of-a-kind customization, a place where you can come in and create something, really collaborate with a master designer and find something that is going to be worn on you, you'll be proud of, feel good about, and honestly be able to pass on to your kids. Like she says, she is making more than just jewelry for you. She is making it also for your kids and your grandchildren. That is Christine Marguerite Design, located right here in Boulder, Colorado. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.